Championship. TRK.
Event time here at Rise Up. Coming to you from the HWF Coliseum. I'm Jason, alongside Mike Edwards, as the HWF Championship is on the line. Our champion, Matt TRK Silks, going up against the literal biggest challenge of his reign.
What we saw earlier in the night, when they confronted each other, you could see the look of doubt and concern in the eyes of Matt Silks. And I have said before, if you have those thoughts in your head, you are going to lose to James Ford. Hopefully he got his confidence back since then. We're going to find out.
A lot of anticipation for this title match, as Matt TRK Silks has a grueling schedule as a double champion. Both the HWF and NCW champion, a defending champion of both belts. Matt Silks has defeated the likes of Edward James, Vam Williams, and Zach Rain. He's defeated Sickens. He has been on an absolute tear, but listen to those names that I listed and realize this is a man whose body has suffered wear and tear and is going up an absolute monster of a man in the Titan, James Ford.
And there's no doubt, when you have a match against a guy who kicks like Zach Rain does, you don't walk away 100%. You don't walk out of that matchup without some kind of a...
And now Matt hugging his son. His whole family is here. His wife, Trista, they were long estranged, but they have been reunited in their love. You know, in so many ways, Matt Silks was a broken man for a long time and felt this belt has made him whole. We documented the problem with his family and his friends. Matt Silks has never been more at peace with himself, but how much of that is a fragile facade propped up, held together by that belt and that belt alone?
Look, there's no doubt that pro wrestling has saved a lot of lives and has helped a lot of people over the years. But I don't know, in this case, where you've got somebody like James Ford, and that little bit of doubt that got into his mind, where is his mindset at?
Pro wrestling absolutely saved the life of Matt Silks. He's been very open and honest that he went from basically a pariah in his hometown to a hero. They're listening to the song written by his friend, Chip Jabs, who unfortunately succumbed to addiction. And an addiction Matt Silks was able to overcome partly through the love of pro wrestling. His whole life is defined, for good and for bad. I mean, I'm not saying it's always healthy. I'm really not. But his life is defined by pro wrestling, and it's defined by being this champion. His life is on the line tonight, Mike.
You're absolutely right. I've said it before that his wrestling has often saved a lot of people and saved a lot of lives. But an unhealthy obsession is not good either. And that seems to be what Matt Silks has right now for that HWF Heavyweight Championship.
I think Matt Silks rides the line. There's days that I think professional wrestling is the best thing that ever happened to him, and there's days that I think professional wrestling is the thing eating this man alive and keeping him from finding real fulfillment. And I don't know. I really don't.
Right now, we've got mind games. Notice that James Ford not out right away, kind of letting him think about it. Maybe let him stew a little bit in the ring before he comes out.
Well, unconventional as well. Usually the champion enters second. I don't know exactly why this arrangement was struck, but I think it's a power play. I think it is a real clear sign that James Ford is demanding the attention and that all eyes be on him.
To say this matchup will not be for the faint of heart. This is going to be knockdown, drag out affair. Right there he is, the Titan, James Ford.
Here's how we got here. The long of it is that James Ford arrived on the scene in HWF about a year ago and has achieved a path of destruction.
He is undefeated in HWF.
He's beaten David Hetfield, he's beaten Rayek Scott. But the short of it, how we landed at this exact moment, after his most challenging defense yet, after defeating the White Rabbit, Zach Rain, Matt Silks was challenged and then attacked by James Ford and given a rumbling third round Lewistown. And now, as we said before, figuratively and literally, the biggest challenge of Matt Silks' reign as HWF champion. But it is put up or shut up time for James Ford. You don't always get a title shot, and James Ford has never won a singles championship.
Event of the evening. It is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the HWF Heavyweight Championship. When the bell rings, the man in charge, HWF official Timmy Richards. Now let us introduce to you your participants for this evening. In the corner to my left, wearing all black, he is the recognized #1 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, this is James Ford. And his opponent, in the corner to my right, this man needs no introduction to the city of Lewistown. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the driving forces here at HWF. Ladies and gentlemen, from Lewistown, Pennsylvania, he is the reigning, defending HWF Heavyweight Champion, Matt TRK.
Now, Jason, I'm going to correct you for one moment. James Ford actually did hold singles gold at one time. Not here in HWF. He is a former Phoenix Pro Legacy champion. Lost the title to Zach Rain.
Oh, he had told me earlier today that he has never held a singles title.
He has held it, but it's been years since he's held gold. We are waiting for the bell. The referee making sure he's got control of the situation, and there it goes. And here we are, the main event. We've been looking forward to this since it was announced 2 months ago. James Ford, Matt TRK Silks.
Looking each other right in the eye. No fear in either man, at least not obvious, but Matt Silks may not be afraid of James Ford. I believe that. I believe that Matt Silks is not afraid of James Ford the man. But I do think that Matt Silks is afraid of what James Ford represents, and that is the potential loss of that title. We heard from Ford earlier. These people love Matt Silks, but will they love him if he fails? Will they love him?
That's the wrestling business. They don't always love you when you don't have a championship. But I saw the smile on the face of James Ford. James Ford thinks he's in the head of Matt Silks. Is he? We're about to find out. As both these guys circling, they're being very, very careful before they lock up.
It's easy to root for a winner. It is harder.
Wait a minute! He's going to go for the win early.
He looked for the rumbling, and Ford's saying it's just that close. It takes that little to put you down for the 3 count.
Ducked that clothesline, dropped it, kind of shrugged it off to Ford.
Blocked. Up and over, just wild swings by both men. The emotion really getting in the heads of challenger and champion.
Here's a question for you, Jason. Do you think that Matt Silks could get him up for the antidote?
I think that Matt Silks, with the adrenaline flowing and the Lewistown crowd going crazy for him, can do almost anything.
And that clothesline didn't take Ford down.
Anywhere in the world? No. Here in the Lewistown Coliseum? Yes. I think for Matt Silks, miracles can happen in this building.
And look at James Ford. That's the knowledge that Ford has. He held onto the ropes, didn't get clotheslined by Matt Silks.
Big smile on the face of the Titan. He knows that he has the champ reeling. This is absolutely a bigger mountain to climb for Matt Silks than James Ford.
Now, Jason, how long did you say Matt Silks? What kind of experience has he been? How long has he been in business?
Matt Silks has been in the business. Well, it's not consistent. That's the issue. He's been in the business for double digits years, but he lost himself for a long time. He trained over 15 years ago, but his demons got the better of him. He was gone for a long time and has been back as a full-time wrestler for about 3 years at this point.
I've known James Ford for a long time. I can tell you he has a career of over a decade. And it was just like Matt TRK Silks. There was a time period where he kind of questioned himself as well and took some time off to rebuild himself. Lost a lot of weight, put on a lot of muscle, rebuild himself into the Titan James Ford that he is today. There's a lot of similarities between the careers of both these men.
There is, though I believe that James Ford has spent more years consistently active than Matt Silks. And that is both a blessing and a curse. The blessing, that is a ton of ring experience to accumulate, but also more wear and tear on the body. Head scissors takedown from champion to challenger, and that's the positive for Matt. When he was out of the ring, he still had all of the thoughts. He had time to learn and basically think about his game plan, but he doesn't have the same wear and tear on his body. He has the body of a younger man.
But he's going to have to use that speed like that and that experience that he has against James Ford. Neither one of them have really the experience factor. It's just the fact that Ford, a little bit more of a powerhouse, and surprisingly, Ford is a technical wrestler. What a body slam.
Well, you wouldn't know it by watching him in this match.
Absolutely not. You don't think he is, but I've called enough of his matches. He was in a tag team. He was the smaller, faster, more technical of the two men.
He keeps that in his back pocket. The thing is, when you are a monster like James Ford, all you got to do is jump, as we see there. And then if he needs to bust out the technical stuff, he will. James Ford, both legs hooked, great cover.
That's what James Ford brings to the table. You can underestimate him. You think he's strictly a powerhouse. You don't think he has that wrestling ability, that technical ability. Trust me, he does. And he might have to show it in this matchup to beat Matt Silks.
They are layers to James Ford that we have not yet seen in an HWF ring because he has been so physically dominant. We have not necessarily had the chance to see him go into deep water, but going up against Matt Silks, likely, however this match ends, I think it's going to go the distance.
And now Matt returning with some right hands of his own, holding his ribs a little bit there. I think that one takedown, he might give some ribs. Mongolian chop, and now those regular chops, forearm shot.
You said before, James Ford just shrugging them off. Those are some of the best shots that Matt Silks can give as a striker, and it barely registered on the Titan's face.
You are not going to get in. You're not going to win a striking fight with James Ford, just like you're not going to win a power match with James Ford. Again, Matt Silks, he has to use that speed, that agility, and that knowledge that he has to beat James Ford. Now he's going to try and slam him.
100% Matt Silks has the home field advantage. That is for sure. And it's a real thing. It's a real thing. There is a difference for Matt Silks here in this building.
Got him locked up. I thought he was going for a pump handle slam, but just suplexed him, threw him overhead. The power and a little bit, again, that technical ability right there of James Ford.
Well, he mixes and matches that power with his ability to get those holds on an opponent. And James Ford, look at that predatory eye that he is giving Matt Silks, just winding up. One clothesline, and he could take Silks' head off.
James Ford showing the proper respect. He is not rushing in this matchup. He knows how important this is. This is the biggest match, the biggest singles title of his career, and Ford knows it. Stalking his opponent, backing Silks into the corner.
As we mentioned before, it's been a crazy day here at Rise Up. We've seen that with people walking into the ring, Eric Hamill returning, just people coming out. That wouldn't happen if our president, Phil Stamper, was here, but he's out ill and has kind of let the inmates run the asylum just a little bit.
And looking forward to the way he's holding that. I said it before, Matt Silks looks like he's got his ribs injured a little bit there early on, and Ford knows it. He's got a target right over here. Look at the way he's holding the ribs right now, Jason.
Silks will not quit, that's for sure. You will have to kill Matt Silks before he gives up in this building, not just because of how obsessed he is with that title and his identity, not just because he's in front of his friends, but his family. We saw his son earlier. His other son is here. His wife is in the back. You know she is watching while she problem solves. He cannot afford, for his own sense of self, to quit in front of his family.
What a shot by James Ford. Well, Matt Silks went for that drop kick, and the way he landed very awkward on those ribs. injuring the ribs even more. And looking forward, he's chopping the ribs. Notice he's not chopping the chest, he's chopping the ribs. He's aiming for that area that Silks has been holding on. That's just, again, that's that expertise. That
this position is
experience.
also usually the setup for Matt Silk's antidote, his version of the muscle buster, but it looks like instead the Titan is going for some kind of superplex.
And then that'll really affect the rib. The superplex is not enough. It jars the whole body, but then you've got ribs on what a clothesline by Matt Silks from the top, but still clutching those ribs.
And going to the top rope, that is one asset Matt Silks has that we are very unlikely to see James Ford use. He's got to do this high-risk offense. Sometimes you say play it safe, not tonight, and only 2.
You can't play it safe with somebody like James Ford. The problem is you also can't rush in against James Ford because he has those reversals. He's got that knowledge. He's not just a power wrestler. He's not just a striker. He's a very smart, calculating individual. You don't think it, you underestimate him, you will lose.
You can't play it safe. You got to play it perfect. Matt Silks has to bowl as close to a perfect game in order to get a strike here on the Titan.
Reversal, off the ropes comes, kick to the midsection again, maybe hit it a little high.
Wait, he's going for it! The rumbling! The rumbling! We saw him hit this before! If he hits it, it's over! And Matt Silks almost with a leg lariat to get out of that hold!
You've got to do whatever you can to get out of that powerbomb. He's won many matches with that particular maneuver. And now Silks going right to work, trading a few strikes with James Ford. He's got a hold of him. Matt Silks in control right now.
Silks was just trying to escape, but somehow managed to turn it into offense. Spine on the pine!
Buster.
Matt Silks so close to retaining his title.
But I think that took a lot out of Silks too. He had to hoist him up. You're using those rib muscles to try and spine buster him. That has to affect him as well.
This whole match is taking everything Matt Silks has. Mind, body, and soul. His identity is on the line, Mike. If there's only one thing he loves more than wrestling, it's his family. And tonight, he feels like both are being challenged.
James Ford, that was it right there.
The rumbling dead center of the ring, and Matt Silks kicked out.
What a kick out by Matt Silks. And that shows the heart and determination he has to hold this title. Like you said, he doesn't want to let down this Lewistown crew. He doesn't want to let down his fans, his people.
That is the strongest weapon in the Titans' arsenal. Now we're going to learn, how does the Titan James Ford deal with adversity? He is so used to bullying people around. He is so used to being the big man on campus. But what will James Ford do when he's tested? We've talked so much about how can Matt Silks deal with the adversity, but what will James do?
Unfortunately, I know what James is capable of, and he's showing you right now with another one of those
power bombs. Oh my God,
bombs.
yet another power bomb. 2 rumblings, the ribs, the back of Matt Silks.
And again, he's setting up for it again. He's going for this power bomb.
No one can kick out of this.
Did you see the height, the bounce that he got on the power bomb?
It was like the aftershocks of an earthquake here in Lewistown. The rumbling, he's just going for it.
And right now, he's going for the cover, not a very arrogant cover, and you're not going to pin Matt Silks. Like, I don't care how many power bombs, you're not going to pin him like that.
Matt Silks has withstood, what, 2, 3 power bombs in one match? This is unprecedented. Oh, no. There's no padding out here. There's no padding whatsoever.
No,
don't make a man's family watch this happen.
Wait a minute.
Trista Silks coming out along with Jason Havoc, one of our executives, and they just threw in the towel. They just threw in the towel.
You can't.
Jason Havoc just handed Trista Silks a towel.
No.
Oh my God.
Wait, we're waiting an official word. We haven't heard the official word as to what happened. We know you, like you said, he's telling, but that Ford is getting in the ring as if he was.
Jason Havoc is a member of executive team, and one of the trainers of Matt Silks came out along with Trista because they were so concerned Ford was about to powerbomb Matt Silks right on the apron, but I don't think Silks would want this. I don't think Silks would ever want this.
Absolutely not. You know that Matt Silks, he's a fighter. He's a proud champion. And I agree with the crowd. You don't want a title change like that.
it wasn't quite Trista. I believe that Jason Havoc effectively, I don't know if he told her to or convinced her to or put it in her hand, but this was not Trista's idea. But she certainly came out here because she didn't want to see.
Wait a minute. What?
I think we might have a riot, Mike. We might have a riot.
Matt looks a little confused on the outside as to what happened. He lost the title due to throwing the towel in.
His trainer and his wife came out to try and save him, but have they damned him instead? James Ford just won the HWF Championship, and I don't know how Matt Silks or his marriage survives tonight.
Where is he going to be mentally after once it finally hits him? It may not have hit him right away, but wait until it finally.
Safety comes first.
The referee, he just told us he's nothing he can do. He's absolutely right. He did what he was supposed to. That's what the referee was supposed to do.
This is absolutely insane. I don't know what would have happened if Phil was here. Trista, our owner, and the wife of Matt Silks, Jason Havoc. Why is Jason Havoc wearing an Artie Moss shirt?
Very interesting.
It's just odd that an official who's meant to be a member of our team would represent one of our wrestlers. I find it odd. But Jason Havoc, one of the trainers of Matt Silks, and Steve Steele coming out to comfort and console, and our executive committee member basically explaining and lifting the hand.
Wait a minute. Jason Havoc is now holding the hand up.
Well, someone has to. Everyone else is tending to Matt Silks. I get it. He may not like it, but he's got to do his job. And James Ford is the heavyweight champion.
And that's all you need to hear from James Ford.
I don't think James Ford is safe in this building. They're about to riot here in Lewistown, and Steve Steele is demanding the belt back. It's a crazy scene here, and what a wild night. Thank you for joining us. For TV's Mike Edwards, I'm Jason Heat. This was HWF Rise Up.
We haven't heard the last of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're upset that your hero, TRK, is no longer the champ. However, here at HWF, as acting president, I had no choice but to hand Trista the towel. Safety comes first, people. Safety first. Thank you for coming tonight. We love you, fans. And we'll see you next time, guys. We'll see you next time.